20 is the max.
Okay, yes. So mini, let me try again. From 5 to minus 1, what is the minimum? Another person, not you. You can mute. Okay. So another person should try. The minimum from 5 to minus 1. What is the minimum number? Okay, if you know it, just raise up your hand and try so you can help the class.
-1.
Okay, yes, minus 1. You are following up. Okay, so that is the minimum of the number. So let's work with it on our data set. So we'll open our data set. So let me share my screen. I think my data set isn't showing here. Okay. Okay, so now this was the data set we're working with, right? So now in this data set, they had an issue which we saw earlier, that the lady could not find what the total, what the highest amount of what highest amount of price this operating system sold. We could not find the highest amount of what price that we made throughout the year. So she needed help with what? Getting what? How the total amount, our highest sales of price. So in the full year, the highest sales of price, take note, this is not total. This is not total price. We are trying to get, if you look at our system here, in each data set we had, each laptop comes with what? A different price and their amount. Why? Because of the specification. RAM has what? 16 gigabytes, and this one, AMD Reigns, has what? 8 gigabytes. 16 gigabytes and 8 gigabytes, they are not the same thing, right? So, and it has a storage of 256 watts SSD card, and the operating system is what? Mac OS. So Mac OS is sold for what? 1,500. And who bought it? Benjamin, somebody. You understand? So you can expand and check Benjamin Vacuum. So from what city? West Scottsburg. So as you can see here, the brand was what? MSI. So now the company asks that what was the total, like not the total price of we made on that year, like what was the highest sales we made from that laptop. So we said, oh, she said she needed help for us to analyze it. I'm coming. Okay, so I just got, sorry. Okay, so back to business. So I stopped. Wait, so she needed help in getting what? The amount of price, the amount of price that had the highest amount, like the amount we made profit from where? From the price. So we said we wanted to help her, and we talked about what? The max function and the min function. So we said the max function can be used to get what? The highest what price. So now who can help us fix what? To get the highest price here that we sold using the max function. You can raise up your hand. And okay, so nobody can do that. So we say is equal to what? Equal to max. We all know what max is. Now we are coming to the price and say price what? G2. G2 to range what? I think our database stop at 101. G2 to 101. So we click enter. So the best max price, we got best price or highest price. I can call it HP. Okay, HP is a laptop name. So I can call it for short. I say best price BP is equal, but don't do BPO. for short. Best price is what equal to $1,800. So $1,800 was the best price we sold throughout that year. So the highest amount of money we made was $1,800, which was Intel what? Intel i3 HP brand. The RAM was 32 gig, 1 TB, which is sold for 1,800. The rest could not sell for 1,800. And I think, okay, yes, so there's a conflict here. Also, we sold for 1,800 what? We sold Linus to Linus HP. Okay, still an HP brand called i5. Yes, so their HP brand for 1,800. So 1,800. So that's it. So now we are trying to get, now we've helped have solved our problem. Now we are trying to get what? The minimum amount we sold, the least amount we sold. So if we look at this database, 1.8 was the highest that we sold. 1.8 was the highest that we sold. So now let me transform this to like 1.9. Let's see if our computation would be correct. $1,900. So when we check the marks, we get 1,900 was the best price of laptop we sold. So that was the best price we sold. So now who can help us with? Now we are trying to get what? The lowest price. What was the least price we sold for that year? Who can help us with that? You can raise up your hand. The least price we made for that year. So nobody gets it. The least price we made for that year. Okay, so nobody gets it. I'll have to go back to the beginning of the slide. So I talked about max function as we started. I said max function finds what? The largest number in what? In the range. It's help us find what? The largest number in where? In the range. So now we have a lady who told us to help us find what? That they asked her in a company to find the largest amount that they sold in a product, how much they made, what was the highest amount they made so far. Like this is not the total amount. Take note, the total amount is different from the largest amount they sold. So they are trying to find what was the largest amount a product sold. So we are using what? The mass function, which find what? The largest number. So we use the example. I say from 10 to 20 is what? What is the largest number from 10 to 20? You can raise up your hand if you have the answer to it. From 10 to 20, what is the largest number there? 10 to 20. What's the largest number? If you have the answer to it, you can raise up your hand. I guess nobody still has the answer to it. Or is my mic maybe muted or something?
Okay, see, let's make this class interactive. I don't know why you guys will come to class and keep quiet. You are not responding. Please, let's make this class interactive. Or is there is no one in the class? Let me confirm. Queen, are you in class?
Present, sir.
Abasi Udeme, are you in class?
Yes, yes, I'm in class.
And Favor, Iria Favor. Hello, Favor. Okay.
Maybe I
Uh,
think their network is down. Anyway, I'll just have to proceed then. Maybe they could watch on YouTube and
okay,
ask their
Akerejola,
question there.
Akerejola, Akerejola, okay. Emmanuel, Emmanuel, you in class?
Which of the manual? I'm in class, sir. If it is my own
You,
manual.
yes, you are the one. You
I'm in
always,
class. My net
Yes,
you,
yeah, I can hear you, but I will never hear Instructor Martins. But I
up.
hear you, I hear others participate. But Instructor Martins, I will never hear him. That's my complaint. Whenever he's presenting, I don't hear him. But I can hear you, I can hear other participants. So that's just the problem.
I think everyone is hearing Instructor Martins except you. I don't really know why. So I will want you to switch your device. Are you getting me? Hello, Emmanuel. Hello,
I can hear,
Emmanuel.
yes, I can hear you, I can hear you.
I want you to switch your device and make use of your cell phone, or you. I think now your cell phone will be like a sound or a mouthpiece for you. Okay.
No, I'm using cell phone. I only use laptop for the experiment, but I use my cell phone to join the class. I only use laptop just to experiment whatever is being displayed on the screen. So that's what I
Okay.
do.
No problem. If you are still having issue with that, you can switch to other device to see if it's still the same. If it's still the same, you can give me a feedback, then we'll sort it out. Okay?
Okay, no problem. Because last time I ended up joining the YouTube. But
Please,
anytime you speak, I hear you. Anytime other participants participate, I hear them. So that's why I'm saying that I don't know what is wrong with my Instructor Martin's mic when it comes to presentation. But I
okay.
would do as you said. I would do as you said.
Okay, just switch it. And if there's still same issue, you give me a feedback, then we'll sort it out. Okay?
No problem. No problem.
So I believe each and everyone is in class. Please let's communicate. Let's respond to questions and answer. And this is how the class will be moving forward. If you are in class not responding to what instructor Mattis is saying, it will be difficult for us to communicate. Okay. So I think instructor Mattis can continue. Okay.
Okay. So I said the max function is used to find what? The largest number in the range. It's represented with what? The max and what? The range. So now finding use cases of finding using the max function. How do we use the max function in our data set? So a lady had an issue and said we needed to find what in the company. We needed to find what the amount, not the total amount, but we need to find the highest amount a product sold. So to know how much we made throughout the year, what was the largest amount, the largest number we made in where? In that range or in that data set. So now I went to like proceeding, like sharing the data sets which I shared the last time, which I'll share again. And I said we'll be working with that and many data sets also. So I shared the data set and I said to find the what the largest amount that we sold here, we use what? The max function. To get the max function, I said we have to use what? We have to use what? The max function, which is represented with what? Equal to max, capital letter max, followed by your parameters. Then we are saying the price, which is what? G2, G2, which is G2, range what? Our data set end at 101, I guess. So G101. So when we go to G101, we have the largest amount, which I say best price as BP is equals to what? $1,900. So if we scroll, which normally you're not supposed to scroll as a data analyst because you're going to have lots of data. So we can see that here we had the largest amount we sold, which was $1,900, which was ASUS laptop. So as a data analyst now, I gave you some tools which, as time proceed, I'll keep on giving you some tools which you use to get better. But first of all, I can't rush you on. You need to understand which and which tools you need to use. Now you've gotten the 1,900. Now, on the last class, I taught you how to use the counter and the count. You can definitely get, which will be your assignment, to get which laptop had the highest amount. So we'll be doing that as the assignment. But now we have to find what the minimum amount we made throughout that year. What was the lowest amount we made throughout that year? So I went ahead by sharing my slide, which I will do here. So I went ahead by sharing my slide and I said we have what? A main function. The main function is to what? Finds the lowest what? Number in where? In a range. So it can be used to find what? The lowest number in a range. So the main function is used to find the lowest number in a range. So now let's go ahead by working with this data set and checking for what was the lowest amount of money we made throughout that sales, throughout this price. What was the least lowest amount of money? So who can help us out to do that? You can raise up your hand using the main function. Okay, Abasi, you can help us out. Okay, Abasi, you can help us out.
Okay, you do equals to
Okay, equal to.
mean,
Okay,
like you type mean, then
okay,
bracket open
okay,
G2
okay.
um um I've forgotten how the other one is called.
Okay, try. That's why you're here.
Yeah.
Let me scroll down to the end.
Then to the last one. Yeah.
Okay,
Let me
so
see.
what is the last one?
101.
Okay, so what will be the 101?
Yes.
So you started here G2. What was your reason of doing G2?
Yes.
Because we are working with the price. Don't worry, I want you to get it. It's good. This why I give exercise on the live class. Why? So I can know each and every one who are not performing, so I can help you out. Because that's why we are actually here, to help each and every one out. So I want you to participate. Okay, follow me up, Mrs. Abasi. I want you to participate. It seems you got lost on it. So let's start with the marks. Can you get the marks?
Yes, I can get the
amount.
max.
Okay, let's do the marks.
Yes.
Okay,
Equals
okay.
okay.
Do you need me to? Do you
The
want? Do
max.
you? Okay. Do you want me to show you the
Your screen
slide?
is not showing
Do you want me to show you the slide?
again.
Huh? Okay. So let me proceed by showing you.
Yes, because
If
it's
you
not
have a
opening with my
note,
laptop.
okay. If you have a note, to follow up now, then just write it. You say equal to what?
Okay.
Marks, right? So followed by your parameters.
Yes.
Are you seeing this? Followed by your parameters. So now, because we are working
Yes.
with price, understand? Because we are working with price only works with what? Numbers. So here we are trying to find the highest amount of numbers. So what do we do? If you are with me in the first class, remember this is G what? This is G, right? Because we are working with this range. If we are working
Yes,
here, we are
G2.
going to say F, right? If we are
Yes.
working here, we'll say F. If we are working here, we'll say E, right? So because we are working with the price, we are going to say G, right? So G now, where are we starting from? Where does the database start from? G what? G2. It started from this line.
2.
G2. So followed by what? This your double dots. Even if you don't know what to call it, you
Yes.
can just call it a double dot. Okay. Nobody's going to do you anything
G2.
about it. Yeah. So now we are saying G2. So it's starting here, right? So where is it ending?
Yes.
So you need to scroll and check where your database ended at.
101.
Yeah, exactly. So it end at 101. But you cannot just write what? 101. We need to write what? The G again, right?
G
Yes.
101.
Yes, G101. Are you seeing it's moved to this place? So what about 10? We want to stop at 10.
Yes.
What do we do? If we want to stop at 10,
We
this 10.
do G2 into
Okay.
G10.
Okay, G2, G10, right?
Yes.
Okay, correct. So what
Yes.
about 15?
G2 into G15.
Okay. Yeah, so that's correct. So that's how it works. I hope you understand it now. You will never forget it again.
Yes, I
Okay. So
yes
now
I
for
do.
minimum value, can you try out the minimum value? Or who can try out the minimum value? Okay, somebody's hand is up. Mrs. Rukayat, can you
Max.
try?
Okay.
Okay. Mrs. Rukayat, you can participate for the minimum value. Okay, I think maybe our network is down. So let me check for another user. Who is the second person here in my list? Okay, Mrs. Favor, you can participate for the minimum value.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good
So
evening.
the minimum value,
Okay.
if we do the same process, just that the difference is we no longer use the mass value. So we just say minimum, that is MIN.
Okay.
First of all, equals to,
Okay.
sorry, equals to
Okay.
MIN
Okay.
G2
G2.
to G101.
Okay, to G101. So we got the minimum. So what is this minimum doing for the price here?
Are you
What's the
asking?
minimum? Yes, what's the minimum doing for the price?
I don't get the question.
Now we used minimum 300. What does it mean in this price? In this price, what is it doing?
Finding that that is the lowest price on the list.
Okay, exactly. So everybody can hear. So that is the lowest price in the list, which was $300, which sold for $300. So this is how to get your minimum and maximum. They are very important questions in life data set, in everyday life work. I think I experienced it last week also. Yeah. So analyzing the data also. So okay, we'll move on to the next slide. Okay, somebody has a question, right? Mrs. Abasi. Hello, Mrs. Abasi. Yeah. Okay, I think that's not a question. Okay, so we'll move on to the next slide. Okay, so I have to adjust this data. So we'll be talking about the if what? The if statements. The if statements. This data will not adjust. I have to read it on my own system here. Well, okay. So the if statement, we also have a function also in Excel, which is the if statement. So what does the if statement do? The if statement is a very important function in Excel. What does the if statement do? The if statement is typed with what? The equal to and if, and has what? Three parts. The first part is what? The logical test. Don't be confused, I'll break it down. The value if true, the value if what? If false. Then the condition is referred to the logical test, which can check things like if a number is greater than another number, do this. If a number is smaller than another number, do this. Or what? If the number of text is equal to something, do this. So that's what the if statement do. So now the if statement is what gets so many people very confused in the world of Excel and programming. So breaking this if statement down, I'm going to use a simple example in, okay, I think I used that in Python class. I can reuse it here. So how does the if statement work? For example, you are being asked, okay, let's say someone has a mother, is a mother with a child. You have a child and you send the child a message to go and buy what? Buy Coke, right? So you're telling the child, go and buy Coke. So now that's what the if statement actually does. You are giving what? A condition. Hello? Okay, I think let me mute the person. Okay, so you are being asked to what? Go and buy what? To go and buy Coke. This is the most typical part in Excel that gets a lot of people very confused. So you are being asked, your parent is asking the child, please go and buy Coke. It's returning what? A logical what? A statement. So the logic there is what? Go and buy Coke. So if you don't see the Coke, it's returning what? If the value is true, go and buy Coke. So you are returning what? A true value. And if statement what? Return what? A true value. If the what? The logic test is correct. If the conditions are what? Are correct. So if you don't see Coke, you are telling the child, go and buy what? Pepsi. So if there is no Coke, if there's no Coke here, you are telling the child, buy Pepsi. So if there's no Pepsi here, what will it return? It will return a what? A false statement if there is no Coke or what? Pepsi. So, but if there's Coke and Pepsi in this logic that you sent the child, go and buy what? Go and buy Coke or what? Buy Coke or what? Pepsi. So when you buy Coke or Pepsi, it returns what? A true value because you are giving like a command to the child and say, go and buy these two things. If you don't see it, what? If you don't see it, come back home. If you don't see it, it's returning what? A false statement, meaning that there was no Coke and what? Pepsi. Return the money back to the house. So that's what if statement, how if the if statement, the if statement work. So you are sending that child a command, go and buy this. If you don't see this, go and buy what? The other thing you see. So now we are going to practicalize how to use it in the real world example. But take note, in a if statement, it returns what? The condition as true if the logic is what? If the logic is true. Okay, someone say you cannot see my screen. Really? Please raise up
Instructor,
your hand if you can. Okay,
instructor,
you can see my
instructor
screen.
Martins,
Yes.
instructor Martins, you can continue. I guess it
Okay.
is from his end. Okay.
Okay. So it's returning what? A true what? A true what? A true value. So you are giving the child a command that go and buy this. So now it also applies in result compilation. This how schools compile what? Your results. So you're asking now the child, please go and compile what? A result. If the child fail mass, right? If you fail your mass, if mass is what? If mass is, let's say, mass score, the teacher has given mass score as what? Let's say 10 as the highest score. And the child got what? In your data set, it got what? It scored 5. Yeah, we are going to return what? We are going to return what? here as the true value, we can return what? A what? Somebody's mic is muted, and so here we are going to return what? We are going to return what here? We are going to return what? A what? If we I was talking about school compilation of school results. So yeah, let's say the logic here, as the teacher, you are saying if the mass score is what? Mass score is equals to what? 10 as the highest score. Now you are saying here the value to be returned, which will always be true. Now, as the teacher, you are saying if the mass score is what? Greater than what? If the mass score, that's which the child, let's say the mass score the child scored was, let's say 5. He scored 5 in mass. Now you're not saying if the mass score is greater than what? Is greater than, now the teacher is putting the highest score, is greater than 10. Return what? Pass or what? Fade. That's what this true function is. Meaning the first value is taking what? True. It will take something that is positive. What the correct answer is. Why the second one, which is false, is taking what? The negative answer. Meaning if the child do not meet the logic that the teacher has given, it will refer to what? A fade value, which is a false value. Please take note. If you don't understand it, raise up your hand. We are going to practicalize it so I can ask you, so you can explain, so I can repeat myself and give you some more terms how these things work. Because if you don't understand the if, you cannot actually do real world logic on your Excel. So I guess everybody understands. Okay, Mr. Taiwo, you can participate.
Yes, didn't understand, sir.
Okay, so let me re-explain it again. The if statement, it takes in two things. This if function, it takes in two things. Number one, the most important thing, the logic which the teacher is giving. The logic here can be what? It can be like mass. You can compute a logic and say this mass score, or we can call it mass score. So your mass score now is any score the student is going to score. So the logic here is mass score. So now the mass score, we are now saying mass score is greater than what? Let's say you put a score 100, is greater than 100. And here, the logic here, the child or the student has failed to not meet what? The greater than 100. So we can say here, if the child scored 50, 50 is not greater than 100, right? So if the child scored 50, 50 is not greater than 100. So meaning what? The child has what? The first value to be returned in a if statement is what? A true value. So if the child, if 50 is greater than what? 100, return what? A true value. That is the first thing this if statement will always return, a true value. But if it is not greater than 100, if it's lesser than 100, it returns what? A false statement, meaning 50 is not greater than what? 100. So here in this false statement, you will not be writing false. You'll be writing what logic you as the teacher, the professor, want the answer to be. So if the child has scored less than, if 50 is less than what? 100, it returns what? Because 50 is no greater than 100, it returns what? You can put a logic here and say the child has failed, or you just put failed. So since this child has scored 50 in this logic in mass, so 50 is no greater than what? The 100, the initial score you put. So the child has what? He has failed that exam. But if it's greater than, if 50 is greater than 100, which 50 is no greater than 100, it will return a true value. So let's check what is greater than 100 that will return a true value. So now we say 60, let's say the child meet up with 101, which is not possible. Let's say the total score was for mass was 50, and the child score, let's say the child score, okay, let's say 5 over, let's say 100, let's not say 100, let's say 5 is greater than what? Let's say 4. 5 is greater than 4, right? So if 5 is greater than 4, return what? A true value, meaning you have passed what? The exam. If the child scored 5, maybe 4 was the initial score, you as the professor, the lecturer, are set to be the score that person can attain in that certain criteria. So we say the child that scored 5 is greater than 4. If 5 is greater than 4, return what? It will return a true what? Value, which means the child have what? Passed. So here you are not going to say true value. You are going to say passed. You are going to say pass, or you are going to put A. So if the child has failed, you are going to put F here, meaning failed. So I hope you understand it now, Mr. Taiwo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll proceed
Understood.
now with the practical aspect. So everybody should open their Excel. I'll share my screen now so we can do some practical work on how that thing works. So now, so there's something, this sheet 1, you can just come in here and put in sheet 2 and click on your sheet 2. So we can work on something. But yeah, I won't be decorating things like grade. There's no much time to do that. So we'll just have to say what? Let's say name. Please, somebody's mic is on. You can unmute. Let's say name. Let's say okay, let's say subject. We can call this what? We can call it total. And we can say logic. This is our logic, or grade. We can call this grade. So name, for short, I can call him John. I can call this John. Let me bold this. So I can call this John and call the subject what? Math. I can call this math. And I can say the total score, let's say 10. Then now our grade is going to have what? The function. So now to use the if function, now, so you pay attention, we say equal to if, followed by your parenthesis. If what? If C what? If C6 is equal to what? Now we are not saying it's equal to what? What now? It takes in what? The string now. We're not going to say the string is equal to what? If C6 is equal to what? If it's equal to what? The type of logic, which I told you, which is this mass, which is a string. If it's equal to math, sometimes you can put your comma depending on the version. You say comma what? Now we are returning what? The logic to what? To be accepted. As you can see, if statements, the logic, and what? The value if true. So now if math is what? If math, we are just doing a random thing now. If math, we can return yes. Subject is math. Let's write it at the top here. We can say yes. Comma. We can say or what? Or no. So yeah, what we did here was to find out, is mass in what? Is mass in subject? Yes. So we are trying to find out here if mass was in this subject. So here mass was in subject. So if mass was not in subject, let's say now we remove mass and put what? English. English. And we click enter. What does it return? It returns what? A no. Is it clear? Or do I have to repeat again? Yeah, we are checking if mass, if this subject is where, if this subject, if English is where in subject, return what? Yes or no. I want to see how, I want to show you how those logic works. Okay, let me show you. Okay, John, let's remove this. Maybe this was confusing you guys for now. Let's say now you send the child, you say Pepsi, right? Go and buy Pepsi. I'll just call it Pep. Let's say Pep, go and buy Pep. Now let's remove this 10. Now we are going to check, is Pep where? Is Pep here? List of items. I can call this item the item you sent the child to buy. So we are checking, is Pep that you send the child. Okay, let's say Coke. Yeah. Or rice. We say rice. So we are checking if rice was in the items you asked him to check. So now we are writing the statement equal to if what, I have to write it here, if what, followed by your parameter, if what, you have to trace C what, C6, if C6 is what, is equal to what. Now you're asking the logic, if C6 is equal to rice, so it's going to be represented with what? Because rice is a string, you have to use what? Your string. You have to use this. Let me zoom my screen. So you have to use that, your string or your double quotation. You have to use it and say rice. You have to call what? The variable name, which is this rice, or the letter rice, exactly rice. So you now say rice. So we are saying here, if C6, which is rice, if rice is where, here, put your comma. You are going to say what? If there's rice, return either yes, the first logic, which is true, yes, there is rice, comma, or what? It return a false what? Statement, which return what? No, there is no rice. So when we cover with our parentheses, what do we get? So it's check which statement was there. So we see yes, there is what? There's rice. So let's remove, if there was no rice here, let's say there was what? Let's say a random figure. Let me use anything. Let me call it a name. Let me say phone. So no, there's no what? It's telling you no, there's no rice. Because why? The logic you used in that place, the item there that was to be done was rice. So now we put in phone. You say no, there's no what? There's no rice. It's supposed, so it's not going to return no, there's no phone. It's going to return no, there's no rice. Because why? The logic there was rice. It was supposed to find rice. So the same thing we did for mass. If there's mass, if mass was in subject, we have to return what? The logic. Yeah, we have to remove rice and say math. So we are checking mass. So students wrote mass or not. So yeah, you can write yes, the first logic. Yes, student wrote math exam. Or no, comma, returns the false. Yeah, returns what? Followed by your comma, returns what? The false value, which is if there is no mass, if the student has written English on that day, return what? No, there is no, student did not write what. So this can just be anything, any command you want to give it. No, student did not write any math exam. So you click on enter. So it says yes, student wrote math exam. So now let's check if student did not write math exam. Let's say it was absent. Nothing was here. No, student did not. Oh, this is a typo. So no, student did not what? Write any math exam. So he did not write. He was not even present. Or we can say no, student was not present. So depending on your logic as the professor or the lecturer, so we can say no, student was not present, or no, student did not. No student. We can put no student. No student. So if he wrote math exam, so yes, student wrote math exam. So if he wrote English, bam, no student. So student did not write any form of English. Please, if you have any question here, ask me so I can repeat myself because we are going to work, okay, on some logic. Mrs. Favor, you can proceed.
So I want to ask,
I think I'm Mike. She's connected to two screens.
Okay, is there anyone who wants to ask the question?
Okay, Ayodele, you can proceed.
Sir, for this if logic, does it only
Okay.
work for a particular cell, or can it work for all? Like if you're working on a data set now, and does it just work for a particular set, cell?
No, okay, no, we are working. Remember, your program is going to be very wide. Remember when this program was here. So this it's going to work in the entire thing. But you, as the data analyst now, you are now going to choose how your logic wants to work. That is the work of what? The data analyst. You now choose how your logic want to work. So you're not going to choose. You can choose the entire thing to find out. Like now, you might have list of employee in the office, right? And you want to check if that employee was present. So when we come to automation, there are different type of automations. But I don't want to talk about automation now. We have the online automation and the local automation. The online automation is whereby you can use your mobile phone and you'll be allowed not to this database. You only be allowed to the interface what the programmer who has done this Excel wants you to see. So when you are typing, you are present at work, you entered in your automation or the app they created for you. You enter it. It will save here. But if you're not in work, automatically it will see that no employee did not come to work. And if you're in your house, you are trying to sign up, it will tell you that no employee did not come to work. So their logic, so depending how you do your logic,
Okay,
your if statement, it works everywhere.
okay.
So
Ayodele.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want you to know that there's other way to write multiple logic, which is called nested if. You can give as much as you can, many if statements. Okay, you can give
Yeah.
many conditions. Okay,
Okay.
using multiple if statement. So I will want you to research on multiple if statement in Excel, where you
All
give
right.
for example, let's use our mathematics. For example, the score of maths is maybe the student have 70, some student have 50, some student have 60, and some student have 40. You can write a condition that if the score is equal to 70, score A, X, or if you still give another condition, if the score is equal to 60, score B, or you still give continuous condition. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. I get, sir. But my
Good.
question originally is, like, for example, now this particular data set that is actually showing on the screen is sharing presently now.
Yes.
Like, can we actually use that if statement to just walk around this old data set instead of the
yes,
one that was doing on sheet two?
yes, that is why the if statement is there. But depending on the logic, that's what I'm telling you. You can't just start using if statement anyhow. Depending on the logic you want to do. Like
Okay.
price, you can write a if statement for price to check what the largest amount of price if Linus sold what the maximum price.
Okay. Instructor Martins. Okay, I want to get this question right. So, Ayodele, what do you mean? Like a single role, you want to perform condition on the single role, or what?
Okay, now we have this particular data set now showing now. Now, can we
Yes.
use the if statement to actually return maybe anything on this particular data set? On the other sheet, which is sheet 2, it was more or less like a cell thing that you was actually doing. So I was thinking maybe we should practicalize it on an entire data set just like this.
Okay, what do you want us to return?
I don't know, it could be maybe if price is something, return this value or whatever.
Okay, Instructor Martins.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, can you work with this or data set? Like, okay, now let's check
Everything has a process. I don't want to rush them. You
okay.
get. So there's a process for everything. Some people don't understand how the if statement. You need to understand how the if statement works
Good,
before you can start practicalizing
good,
on the entire database. I cannot
good,
come
Okay,
here. It will
okay,
get them very confused.
good.
okay,
If I
sir,
should do
okay,
this,
sir.
I can write a if statement that shows
No,
me if Linus had the maximum amount of 1,800 or if Windows. But if we should rush, we will be kicking out some other people.
all
Some
right, no
people will
problem,
get
sir.
so
No
yes, you
So,
problem,
can
sir.
use your if statement
I was just
around
asking if we
yes, you
could
can use
actually.
your if statement around the entire database. It's
All
very
right,
Instructor,
important.
Instructor Martins,
thank
a
you, sir.
minute.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, no problem.
Ayodele,
Yes, sir.
do you see that we don't just rush our students? We go through the very basics. That is why this training is from beginners to advanced.
No
Okay,
problem, no
I
problem, sir. I just joined the class, so I met it at if statement. So that was why, because I see he was doing it on a particular sheet, and he toggled back to this particular sheet. So that was why I was asking, sir.
Yes, we'll be working with a lot of data sets. Not even you'll be working with thousands of data sets, not this 100 data sets. We are
All
just
right,
starting. Yes. So I want to compile all each function for you, tell you how they use it. Then you'll be working with thorough data set, a rough data set. This is a baby data set that is not rough. We will teach you how to clean the data very well, which we taught you some method on how to clean data, some little ones, but we are going step by step to teach you more on how to use them.
all
So you'll
right, no
be
problem,
doing,
sir.
yeah,
Thank you very much, sir.
no problem.
Mm.
So back to this sheet. If anyone does not still understand how this works, please raise up your hand. Let's clarify this now so I can explain. But if you are good, if you know it, so we can proceed. Okay, so I think I have to proceed now. So now, also in the data set now, we want to check for the scores. Remember when I told you I said about students, I said students and their scores. How do you check if the scores of this student or if it's greater than this, return what? Failed, the student has failed, or what? The student has not failed. So this is how they were compiling results, which I told you. Now let's say this was the name, right? And let's say subject, this was the subject of the student, and we can say this was what, let's say maths. In maths, let's say he scored what, let's say the total he scored was 20. So now we can say he scored 20 as the total, right? So now we can say what was the grade. So this is how the grading system started. So we can say what's the grade. So now as the lecturer or anybody or the professor or anybody, you can say use your if statements. If what followed by your parameters. If what, now we are checking for what, the total, right? So if the total, which is 20, which this person has scored, this is D what, D6. So if D6 is what, is greater than what, now the lecturer is going to fix what is greater than what, is going to fix his logic. So maybe the highest score he wanted the student to score was what, 50. So if it's greater than 50, what you follow by your comma is followed by what, you are putting the condition to be met. Sorry. So I'm coming here to write it. So now we are putting what? The condition to be met. Is it a true or what? A false statement. So we are followed by what? Past or what? Then you say or the student has what? Or failed. Right? So if we click entered, what? The student has failed. I hope it's clear now. So what if the student has scored 100? The student has what? He has passed your mark. Also the same thing, you can set your grade as what? A or B, but we'll be coming into much logic. So you can add much. The student has gotten A or what? We can create this and put what? And say or the first statements, which is F. So now if the student has scored low, which is 10 or below, the grade becomes what? F. So this is how the if statement works. So if anybody has any question concerning this, you can ask me. You can raise up your hand then. Okay, Queen, you can proceed.
Okay, good evening, sir. Thank you so
Good
much for the
evening.
lecture. Very enlightening. So my question is now, if we had database of over maybe 1,000, what we are
Okay,
going to do is just from if equal to if, then open parenthesis D6 down to D1000, then we'll write what we want to write, and it's going to affect all of them, right?
exactly. It's going to affect
Oh,
all of them. That's why we did what? Range. Remember, that's why
okay.
we had to do range. So you're not writing your range from this to where? To the total
This,
range. So when
yeah.
nested if comes, when we are talking about nested if, which I might decide to either give you as an assignment or so you can practicalize it, or I might bring out the nested if. When nested if comes in, we start putting what? Many logic. We start adding many subjects, maths, English, and giving them what? A condition and a score. So if the range was very long, if you had so many students feeding up, you get the grade automatically generated.
Okay, Instructor Martins,
Okay, I'm with you. Okay,
I think
favor. Okay.
to everyone here present, please jot it down. Favor, is Favor in class? Favor,
I think our
Favor.
hand is up.
Is it my favor?
No, it's not your Favor. Okay, Ayodele,
Yes, sir.
Ayodele, please, can
Yes,
you
sir.
do something for me?
Okay.
Write down this assignment, okay?
All right.
And at the end of it, you post it as your week 2 assignment. First of all, each and every one of you will have to sort out or look or research on multiple if condition on Excel 1, on Excel 1, and also look on how to filter data. Okay.
How to?
First of all, you have to research on how to work on nested if data.
Using what? A result, a student compilation result.
Results. Okay.
So don't just work with it. Use a student result to work with the nested if. To see if you can
Okay.
fix your grade. When each student change the grade, try it. It's good to always fail. When you fail it, we are here to always bring out the topic back.
Okay. Ayadele, are you with me?
I'm with you, sir. Research on nested data.
Okay. And the other one is research on how to filter and sort data.
How to cater and sort data.
Research, sort and filter. Sort, not
Okay. Sort and
sort and
filter data.
filter data. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And you will give me an example of how you can sort data from the highest to the lowest. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That is your assignment for week 3, and you are expected to submit it next week.
Okay. Before next week class, right?
Yeah, before next week class. So you have to drop it on the group chat, notify them, okay? Instructor
All right,
Martins, you
sir.
can continue.
Okay, so Queen, you have a question. You can proceed.
Yes, I do have a question. On the assignment, you want us to use students' grading data, right?
System.
Please,
Exactly.
you said if works on three conditions, which is less than, greater than, and equal to. Which of them are we working on? Are we doing less than, or we are doing greater than or equal to?
A
That's my
result
question.
sheet we have less than and greater than because they depend on the teacher, right? So your score, you need to try and work with. I want you to be able to work with both the two, so you can understand what greater than means and what less than is. So work with your greater than and your less than while compiling your results.
One more question, please. Does that
Okay,
mean we are going to make it two grades, like one grade, one column grade for greater than, and one column grade for less than?
one
Yes,
column.
yes,
Yes.
that will be okay.